What's going on, everybody? It's LtBuzzLitebeer back with another Division 2 patch notes breakdown, and in general, just doing what I do. Now, as I mentioned in my last video this past Wednesday, once the TU12 patch notes for Phase 1 went live, I was going to give them a comprehensive review, and here I am. But before we begin, if you haven't yet smashed that sub button for intensive Division content, please do so. And don't forget to ring the bell to never miss another upload notification from my YouTube channel. Now, FYI, I have also recently started reviewing pre-release copies of upcoming titles and posting full reviews before they launch, with my first two, Watch Dogs Legion and Assassin's Creed Valhalla, now up on my channel, and I would appreciate you giving them a view and leaving a comment and possibly sharing them. Alright, let's dive into those patch notes. Okay, sticking true to my normal game plan and format, I've now jumped over to the patch notes. These are over on the UB forums. You can see over there in the top left, posted about an hour ago. I'm going to read through these. This first part is they're just basically welcome you to the PTS server. And remember, this is for PC only. I'll include this link, remember, down in the video description, and you can also click up here on the PTS forums. It'll take you to the actual forums. Post any feedback you have over there. For the first PTS phase, we'd like feedback on these topics in particular: optimization station, new weapons and gear, new skill variant, the Achilles pulse. Remember, I talked about that. That's a single point pulse that exposes weak points where you can shoot them, and how much damage you do, I think, is based on your headshot damage. And then they also have general game balance for both PvE and PvP. Down here it says the following content will be disabled during the TU12 PTS and is not accessible to participants. That's Season 4, the new global event, and the global event shop. So the first thing they wanted to talk about down here, this is the optimization station. Yes. Okay, Title Update 12 marks the return of a powerful tool for your end game builds, the optimization station. With it, you'll be able to wring the full potential out of each piece of gear you use for a price. The optimization station will be a new menu accessible via the recalibration station and will require newly introduced resource currencies to operate. With it, you can improve gear attributes beyond their current roles to their upper limits. So you can upgrade the attributes of any weapon or gear piece in your inventory step by step to their maximum values. It requires new materials sourced from all over the game, alloys and weaves acquired by deconstructing high-end or better loot, tactical assessments acquired by defeating final bosses in missions, bounties, and the summit. Greater difficulties yield larger amounts. Field recon data acquired by completing control points in the LZ, landmarks in the DZ, and some summit floors. Greater difficulties yield larger amounts. Shade calibration, rewarded for certain daily and weekly projects. All materials may be crafted. Crafting blueprints may be rewarded from high-tier control points or from project completion. So what they're saying right here is, first off, remember, for those of you who played Div 1 and now into Div 2, Div 1 optimization station ran, I think, completely off of credits and shade tech. It would charge you like a flat amount to perform it in terms of credits. I think that's the way it used to work. But more importantly, it was shade tech. So each time you leveled up, it would level up every attribute on your piece of gear or weapon for a certain amount of shade tech, and it would just keep using it and using it and using it. Well, now the optimization station is a lot more difficult to use. If you want to upgrade something, you're going to have to go out and it's going to say, hey, you got to have X amount of alloys or weaves and tactical assessments and field recon data and shade recal. So there's a lot more things you got to pay attention to upgrade your gear via the optimization station. Plus, it doesn't do everything. So like, let's say on a weapon you have a core attribute and then two other attributes. You can't just go spending something and it's going to boost all three. It's only going to boost the one attribute you pick. So pick wisely. If you have, let's say you have on a weapon, maybe it's an assault rifle, and you have 12% health damage, and then you've got maybe damage to targets out of cover at 9.5%. Don't use your don't use your optimization on the 9.5 out of 10 or whatever it is for damage to targets out of cover. Use your actual recal. This is not the optimization station. Or use your recal to get your health up. Hopefully you have max health in your recal library. Bring your health up, and then spend your optimization on that, maybe to damage the targets out of cover. So it just uses a little bit to get it up there, or else you're going to be spending spending, grabbing more stuff, having to accumulate more materials, and spending to get that health attribute up. So understand what I'm saying. Use optimization to bring something that's pretty close to being max up to max. Don't use it on something that's really, really low, unless that's the only way you have to go. So down here, these are Summit improvements. The Summit improvements. Developer comment: with the TU12 changes to the Summit, we want to round out the experience with a new progression system, accommodations, and more. So Summit challenges. We've been discussing this over the last few State of the Games and the recaps I've been doing. Players can activate 2 Summit challenges at a time, 1 tactical and 1 ascent. These are specific to each player, but in groups it is likely more advantageous to have the same challenges activated together. Each Summit challenge can be completed only once per 1 to 100 climb. All finished challenges reset once you finish floor 100. In progress ones maintain their state. Very important. Like if you finish a 1 to 100 climb and you've got an in progress challenge you haven't completed, it will stay, according to this, it will stay where it is at. And once you reset your 1 to 100 climb, you start back on floor 1, that challenge is still there at the state that you left it at. Rewards increase per challenge completed. Rewards include targeted loot items, Summit challenge caches, which have optimization and recal materials, XP, and more. New tab on Mega Map screen to activate these challenges. So we already knew these were coming. They're trying to, I guess, entice us even more to play the Summit, as if targeted loot wasn't enough. So perhaps Summit is the end game. So commendations, added 15 new commendations for the Summit. I think they need to add about 1,500 more to the game. That would keep us interested and be very specific with weapons. But anyway, you have 15 commendations for the Summit. Additional gameplay improvements. Adjusted Summit weekly projects now only require completing 30 floors. Remember, it used to be 100 for the weekly project. Completing every 3rd floor and every 10th floor now rewards an additional targeted loot item. This would be on completing floors 3, 6, 9, 10, 13, 16, 19, 20. So now they're giving you even more targeted loot for every 3 floors and every 10th floor. Added a new objective type and a couple new objective variants. They need more than a couple. Adjusted the frequency of specific objectives. This should make encountering multiple drone objectives in a row less frequent. I used to see that like every 2nd or 3rd, and sometimes it would be back to back to back. Adjusted the frequency of rogue agent encounters in the Summit. Reduced cooldowns between when you can encounter rogues a second time. And from what I heard on State of the Game 2, it's actually a slightly higher chance on Legendary as well. So you got the new exotics down here. I covered this on this week's State of the Game recap video. In case you wanted to watch that one back, just take a look in my Division 2 playlist. It's there. Anyway, we have new exotics coming. You have an exotic assault rifle, exotic shotgun, and an exotic holster. So first up's the shotgun. This is called the Scorpio. Shotgun based upon the 612 chassis. Talent Septic Shock. Anyway, shooting a target stacks something called Venom, which lasts for 10 seconds. These are basically stacks. They just call them Venom. But anyway, 1 stack applies poison, 3 stacks disorient, 6 stacks shock. This for PvP, it's ensnare. You can see the PvP variants. And then for 7 stacks, targets take 20% extra damage from all sources. This includes your teammates. Now for PvP, 1 stack gives bleed, 3 stacks is disrupt, 6 stacks ensnare. Okay, so there you go. Exotic holster, the waveform. Talent alternating current generates a stack of plus 2.5% skill damage on one of your skills every second, capping at 10 stacks. So this changed. This was 3% skill damage on State of the Game this week. So maybe this was a typo, or maybe they just backed it down. They realized it was going to be insane. But anyway, at 10 stacks, that's 25% skill damage. After 10 seconds of the cap, the stacks transfer to your other skill. The process then repeats ad infinitum. Okay, so basically this just builds. I guess the idea, they said they don't want you to watch your skills and kind of monitor the time and throw it out there. But if you happen to throw a skill out when this is now at max, according to this, that's 25% extra skill damage. And yeah, nice. The exotic capacitor, this is based on the PDWR. but they call it an assault rifle. Okay. Rewarded by completing 5 summit challenges and a single ascent. The talent is capacitance. So shooting enemies builds a stack to a cap of 50. Each stack grants plus 1% skill damage. After 5 seconds, stacks decay 1 per second. So they don't decay based on misses, like say Striker's Battle Gear. They decay per second if you're not hitting a target with the weapon. So you can essentially just get in close, start blind firing with this thing over cover, and just start building skill damage stacks. For each utility core, gain plus 5% weapon damage. I also discussed this on Wednesday's video. So if you're running around with a tier 6 skill tier on your skill build, that's 30% static weapon damage just for having this weapon on. We haven't seen the base damage stats. I'll probably take a look at that a little bit later, but I mean, you may say, wow, it's going to be great. And then it actually has just really, really weak base damage. We don't know. So the new gear set, this is called Rigor, 2-piece bonus, 15% skill haste, 3-piece 15% skill duration, 4-piece tend and befriend. Interacting with your deployed skills grants the skill 25% skill damage for 10 seconds. This buff cannot be refreshed. I've had a question about that. I think what it says is once you interact with your skill, that buff stays active for 10 seconds, then it just expires, and then you need to re-interact with your skill, and then you get another 10 seconds. I'm constantly manually pointing my drone and my turret, so I don't think it's going to be a real problem for me, but we'll see. Interactions include using or deploying the skill, changing the skill's target. I do that. That's what I was saying. And healing the skill. The chest talent increases the damage buff from 25% to 50%, and the name of that was called, I believe it was called Best Buds. So if you're running around with a chest piece for the Rigor gear set, that extra skill damage goes from 25 to 50% for deploying or just messing around with your skills or manually pointing them or aiming them. And then the backpack, canceling your skills will reset their cooldown. So that is the skill on the backpack. Chest piece sounds interesting. It's not as strong as kinetic momentum. I know some of you have pointed that out in the comment section from Wednesday's video, but still not a bad damage buff that just does nothing. Just point it and you got 50%. Here is the Achilles Pulse. This is the new skill variant. They didn't show this on State of the Game, but they described it. Target a single enemy with a pulse which identifies weaknesses, highlights them, and causes any damage to those areas to take extra headshot damage. Useful for solo snipers or as a support skill user painting targets for your teammates. Note, this skill will become unlockable in-game when the prime target of Season 4 becomes available, but is available on the PTS for feedback and testing purposes. So I'm definitely going to give that a shot. We'll see how that works. These are the named items down here. We have a new marksman rifle. This is the Tactical 308. I think this was on the Carbon 700 chassis, if I'm not mistaken. It's called the Scalpel. Its talent is Future Perfection. You've seen Future Perfect on the mechanical animal. Works the same, but on a sniper rifle. So there you go. +1 skill tier for 19 seconds. Stacks up to 3 times. These are for weapon kills. And weapon kills at skill tier 6 grant overcharge for 15 seconds. So for a sniper. Okay. Here is the named version of the PDWR. This is called the Test Subject. This has perfectly in sync, so this is going to work exactly the same as the Harmony rifle. Plus 20% skill damage, plus 20% weapon damage. You know how that works if you're hitting both. So if you have both going, you have like your turret going and you're hitting targets, damage increases are doubled while both buffs are active. So they'll go up to 40% for both. The Empress International, this is the name chest piece for the new brand set. This is, it has perfectly skilled on it. 30% chance to reset skill cooldowns. I'm not real big into skilled, even perfectly skilled. With as much haste and stuff as we can build in, I can live without a skill for 10 or 11 seconds. So that one's kind of a waste for me, but anyway, it's there. The Empress International backpack is called the Battery Pack. Perfectly calculated. Now you get reduced, woo, have some coffee buzz, reduced skill cooldowns by 15%. So this is the perfect version of calculated. I think it was 10% for skill kills from cover before. Here's a new brand set, Empress International. Not a bad set, not the best, but not bad. So it has one piece is 10% skill health, 2-piece 10% skill damage, and 3-piece 10% skill efficiency. Skill efficiency is a strong stat. Remember, that boosts everything in the skill category. It has new weapons. I guess these are the non-named weapons, the Tactical 308. and the PDR, or PDWR. New directives, we heard about this, not this previous state of the game, but one a few weeks ago. We have a new directive they're adding in, which is called Ragers. It basically turns everyone into like God of War, like Kratos, but killing an enemy fills the rage meter of nearby hostiles. Rage depletes over time. A full rage meter makes an enemy enraged. Wow, imagine that. Which grants overheals so they can heal. Killing an enraged enemy removes all the rage from nearby hostiles. An empty rage meter makes an enraged enemy return to normal. Well, that makes sense. Replaces the special ammo directive in missions and global difficulty selection. So this is in the open world. This directive is also available in the summit, which increases the total selectable directives to 10 for the summit. Okay, so basically enraged, it doesn't mean they're just going to just run at you like a berserker, but they have now overheal on them. So they're going to have even more ability to resist our bullets. Yay! Gameplay changes, new functionality, skill pickup. The turret skill platform can now be picked up after being deployed. Remember, we usually had to detonate the turret. The pickup functions in the same way as the hive pickup. The player presses and holds the skill button whilst next to the skill. The turret cooldown will be reduced either based on remaining duration or remaining ammo. I believe that is for the artillery turret, the remaining ammo. The less duration or ammo remaining, the longer the cooldown it will go onto. So you no longer have to detonate your turret. You can just run over and pick it up based on how much it had left. That will reduce the cooldowns. New functionality, always show mask option. I guess people were asking for this. I guess that's cool. The ability to toggle your mask on and off anywhere will now be available as an option for those who want to fine-tune the look of their agents. So you can equip your mask and wear it around full-time, even in the open world, instead of just going into the DZ. Mod filtering UI improvements can filter out by type, so defensive, offensive, utility. So remember, if you scroll down through your mods right now, you just have to scroll. They're just there by your type. Now you can filter them, say, hey, I just want to see my offensive mods. It'll just show you red mods. Can also filter by specific mod type, crit chance, health, skill haste, etc. That's pretty cool. Xidax the Bighorn, we knew this was coming because we saw this on State of the Game. They're increasing the mag size to 40 from 30. Okay, from 40 to 30. They're trying to make it a little more viable and full auto format. And inventory space, this is on your character. Increase the inventory space for each character to 150 from 100. So if you have 4 tunes, that's an extra 200 items you can space out across your tunes. This is not for your stash. This is for your character. Down here are all the bug fixes. I'll let you look at the patch notes for these. Quite a few things going on there. I see things about the Memento backpack, something down here about fragile armor. So they've got quite a few things going on in there. This is, like I said, TU12 PTS Phase 1 on PC. Starts today. I've already downloaded it. So do my best to bring you some gameplay from that. And there you go. That's going to wrap it up for me today, and I look forward to reading your thoughts about the upcoming changes for TU12 in the comments section below. Remember to smash that sub button and ring the bell to never miss another upload notification. If you liked the video, rate it with a thumbs up, if not with a thumbs down. Links to support my channel outside of YouTube include Patreon and Teespring, both in the video description. Don't forget to follow me on Twitter for all my latest thoughts on most things gaming related, and until the next one, this is LtBuzzLitebeer, signing off.